Hey, welcome to Lecture 3, ALM for Agents, Connectors, Tools, and Models. This is Application Lifecycle Management, ALM, the practices and tools that govern how you move code and configurations from development through testing to production. If testing validates, does this work locally, then ALM answers, can we deploy this safely and track what changed? In traditional software, ALM has been around for decades, but agentic systems with agents, connectors, custom tools, and AI models, that introduces new complexity. Let me start with why ALM matters, and then we'll build the framework. Let's start with a real-world scenario, the accidental agent update. So picture this. You have an agent running in production that's handling customer support. It's been working for 6 months. It answers 8,000 questions a day, and your success rate is 92%. On Tuesday, someone, maybe you, makes a quick change to the agent topic in Copilot Studio. You test it locally, think it works better, and export the solution to production without going through a change approval process. The new prompt is slightly different. For 5% of questions, it now gives subtly different answers. By Thursday, you have 200 customer complaints about inconsistent responses. Now, can you revert to the previous version? Do you even know what changed? Do you have an approval trail? Does your company have a compliance requirement that all changes be tracked and approved? Without ALM, you're flying blind. With ALM, versioning, change tracking, approval gates, you would have caught this. The change wouldn't have gone to production without review. And if it had, you could revert instantly because you have versioned snapshots. This is why ALM is crucial. ALM in agentic systems has 4 key pieces. First, versioning of agents, connectors, and models. In Copilot Studio, agents are exported as solutions. Each export becomes a version. You can compare versions and see what changed. Connectors and flows also export as solution components. You version them together. Models in Foundry have a model registry. When you train a new version, you tag it with a version number. You can deploy different versions to different environments. Versioning means you have a history. It means you can roll back. It means you can ask what was different in version 4.3 versus 4.2. Second, environments. Development, test, staging, production. You never test in production, ever. You test in staging, which is a mirror of production. Only when tests pass in staging do you promote to production. Each environment has different configurations. Dev might use test APIs. Production uses real APIs with real credentials. Copilot Studio lets you manage separate solutions per environment. Foundry has different deployment slots. Azure DevOps and GitHub Actions orchestrate promotion between environments. Third, CI/CD pipelines. CI means continuous integration. Every time someone commits code, automated tests run. CD means continuous deployment. If tests pass, code automatically deploys to dev, test, staging environments. Promotion to production usually requires a manual approval gate. For agents in Copilot Studio, you set up a pipeline that monitors your solution export location, like GitHub repository. When a new version is pushed, it automatically imports it to the dev environment. Runs automated tests. If the tests pass, promotes to the test environment. After manual review, promotes to a staging. And after final approval, promotes to production. The entire flow ensures that every change is validated and tracked. Fourth, your governance gates and approvals. Not every change should go straight to production. Some require code review by a senior developer and a security review. Does this change any data permissions? A compliance review. Does this violate any regulations? These gates slow down deployment intentionally. It's a trade-off. Speed versus safety. Enterprises choose safety. So here's the flow. A developer creates a change in their local Copilot Studio environment. They export the solution and commit it to GitHub. GitHub Actions detects the push. It automatically imports the solution to the dev environment, runs unit and integration tests, generates a test report. If the tests pass, the developer requests a code review. A senior person reviews the changes and they look for, does the logic make sense? Did the developer follow naming conventions? Are there security issues? Is this change documented? Once approved, the solution is promoted to the test environment. Here, your E2E tests run against realistic test data. If your E2E test pass, it moves to staging, a copy of the production environment, and there, final human validation happens. Only after all that does it move to production. This process is thorough. It's not fast. It prevents disasters. Let me give you a concrete example. A developer updated an agent greeting prompt to be more personable, less formal. They tested it locally, liked it, and pushed it through, but there was no approval gate. With ALM, that same change goes through the code review and change board. A reviewer flags it. Does this match the brand voice? The approval workflow catches the issue before production, and if deployed anyway, a rollback would be instant. The audit log shows exactly who proposed and approved it. Now let's talk about blue-green deployment for models. Real-world scenario number 2, the model swap with zero downtime. So let's say you have a customer service agent running GPT-4 in production. It works well, but it's expensive, $3 per user per day. Your team trained a fine-tuned GPT 3.5 model that's 70% as capable, but it costs 50 cents per user per day. You want to switch to the new model, but you need zero downtime. Your agent serves 50,000 daily users. Here's where blue-green deployment comes in. You create a blue environment running the original GPT-4. This is production handling all the real traffic. You create a green environment running the new fine-tuned GPT 3.5. This is idle, not receiving traffic. You run E2E test in green. You validate quality. You run A/B test with 5% of the real traffic. If green performs well, you flip the switch. All traffic goes to green. If something goes wrong, you flip back to blue instantly. No downtime. This is production deployment done right. Here's real-world scenario number 3, the rollback scenario. An agent you deployed yesterday is hallucinating answers to 8% of queries. The normal's like 0.05%. Something about the deployed version is broken, but you're not sure what. With ALM and versioning, here's what happens. You detect the issue through monitoring that 8% hallucination rate spike. You immediately roll back to the previous stable version in production. Users are restored to the normal behavior within minutes. Now you have time to investigate what went wrong in the newer version. When you understand the problem, you fix it in dev and then you retest and redeploy. Without ALM, without versioning and rollback capability, you're stuck. You have a broken agent and no clear way to revert. Now, once you've rolled back, you investigate. Compare the broken version against the stable one. Find the root cause. Maybe an incomplete grounding data update. Fix it in dev, retest, and redeploy properly. Now let's talk about versioning strategy. Semantic versioning is common. Major.minor.patch. So the major means a breaking change. The agent behavior is significantly different. Minor is a new feature or capability that is backward compatible. And patch is a bug fix, no new features. So example 2.1.5, version 2, that's a major, the second major release. Version 1, that's your minor, the first minor feature set that was added. And then 5, that's your patch, that's the 5th bug fix on this major minor combination. When you tag a version in Copilot Studio or Foundry, you document what changed. This is your change log. Additionally, you can tag versions with environment information like version 2.1.5-prod deployed to production on March 15th, version 2.1.4-staging in staging. Now, for models specifically, each version in the Foundry registry should include richer metadata like the training date and the data sources, accuracy and fairness metrics, known limitations, who trained it, and who approved it for deployment. If a user reports an issue with a specific model version, you can pull it from the registry, review the metadata, and compare with other versions to isolate the problem. Without this metadata, you're just guessing. Now let's talk about managing connectors and flows. Custom connectors are part of your agentic system. They connect your agent to external APIs. In Power Platform, connectors are versioned. When you change a connector, like a new endpoint or a new authentication, you create a version. Flows that use those connectors reference specific versions. If you update a connector version, all flows are notified. You test them, and you update them, and you deploy them. Now, here's the critical part. If a flow uses connector version 1.2 and you release connector version 2.0, that means breaking change. That flow doesn't automatically break. It still uses 1.2 until you explicitly update it. Now, governance gates formalize this. A developer submits a change request describing what, why, and the risk, and a rollback plan. The change review board evaluates the strategy alignment, security compliance, and the business value. They approve, reject, or approve with conditions. After deployment, you monitor KPIs for 30 minutes. Check user satisfaction, cost impact, any issues. Document your lessons learned. Governance isn't bureaucracy, it's risk management. And finally, models in Foundry. Foundry has a model registry. Every time you fine-tune or train a new model version, you register it. You can deploy different versions to different environments. You can A/B test versions with real traffic. And you can quickly roll back if a version underperforms. The Foundry registry is the single source of truth for which model version is deployed where. Here's a real decision. Version 1.1.0 has 94% accuracy at 10 cents per inference. Version 1.2 has a 96% accuracy at 12 cents. That's a 2% accuracy gain with a 20% cost increase. In many domains, the answer is yes, we want the 20% cost because accuracy affects user trust. Models don't live in isolation. They need data, and data needs to be tracked and governed. That brings us to data, lineage, and Microsoft Purview. Your agent's grounding data comes from somewhere. SharePoint, a database, external APIs, PDFs. When the agent fails or gives wrong answers, you need to trace the problem back. Where did this data come from? Is it fresh? Is it accurate? Who has access to it? Microsoft Purview Data Catalog answers these questions. It tracks data sources. Where does the data live? Data lineage. How does data flow from one source to the agent? And then data quality. Is the data validated and current? Data classifications. Is it PII, confidential or public? And data governance. Who has access? Who can modify it? Here's an example lineage flow. So your HR database, the master source, syncs daily to SharePoint. SharePoint gets indexed every 6 hours into Azure AI search. The agent retrieves from that index for context, passes it to the model, and the model generates output. If the agent gives wrong HR advice, you investigate using Purview. Is the index data stale? Did the SharePoint sync fail? Are there quality issues in the source data? The root cause might be the SharePoint sync failed yesterday, so the agent has old data. Fix the sync, refresh the index, and accuracy improves. Data quality gates add another layer of protection. Before data is used for training or grounding, automated checks run. Are all the required fields populated? Are values in their expected ranges? Are there duplicates? Is the data balanced across classes? If any gate fails, the data is quarantined and an alert is sent. No bad data reaches the model. So here's a real-world scenario where a data quality gate catches bad training data. You're training a new version of a loan approval model. Your training data is 100,000 historical loan applications. A data engineer loads the training data, but a bug in the extract process corrupts 5% of the records. Without data quality gates, the model trains on corrupted data and accuracy drops. You deploy it, users get bad predictions, you discover the problem weeks later through complaints and audits. With data quality gates, the automated checks catch the corrupted values. The training halts and alert fires. The data engineer fixes the extract query, reloads the data, the checks pass, and the trading data proceeds. A 2-hour delay that prevents a bad model from reaching production. What does the AB 100 expect for ALM? Well, strong answers include separate environments, semantic versioning with metadata, CI/CD pipelines with automated testing, manual approval gates like code review and change board, rollback capability using blue-green or version snapshots, version tracking for agents, connectors, and models, data lineage with Purview, and audit trails showing who changed what, when, and why. Weak answers are single environment where testing and production are the same. There's no versioning. You do manual deployments with no approval agents, no rollback capability, only agents versioned while connectors and models are ignored, and no audit trail. If an exam says an agent update broke production, walk through your ALM strategy. Here's how a strong answer sounds. We have separate environments. Every change goes through CI/CD with auto test, code reviews, change board approval, and staging deployment. When the break happened, monitoring detected the spike in seconds. We rolled back instantly using blue-green. Downtime was under 30 seconds. We compared the broken version to the previous stable version, found what changed, fixed it in dev, retested, and redeployed through the full pipeline again. That's exam level thinking. So here's your key takeaways. 1, version everything, agents, connectors, models, flows, with metadata tracking and who changed what and when. 2, govern data with Purview lineage tracking and quality gates. Bad data in means bad models out. 3, enforce separate environments, a dev environment, test environment, staging, and then production. Never test in production. 4, automate with CI/CD using GitHub Actions or Azure DevOps for consistent, auditable deployments. 5, establish governance gates, code review plus change board plus compliance review. 6, design for rollback, blue-green deployments and version snapshots so you can revert instantly. In our next lecture, we're going to talk about responsible AI, governance, and risk management. We'll cover fairness, accountability, transparency, frameworks, impact assessments, bias detection, and security compliance. ALM ensures safe deployment. Responsible AI ensures safe behavior. I'll see you in the next lecture.